People in the stone business are really tuned into waste, especially in the quarry or in the mill. With stone being so expensive, wasted material, wasted labor, wasted movement all absolutely kill your margins. However, there's another type of waste in the industry that goes a little more unnoticed. Today, I want to give you some practical tools and techniques that you can use in the office to streamline your operations. But first, I'd like to ask if you're in the stone business or if you're interested in it, please subscribe to my channel. I put out a new video every Friday, so subscribe to make sure you don't miss anything. Today, we're going to get started with some kind of high-level techniques, and then we're going to take a dive into some really specific tools that we use. First, and probably most importantly, one thing that we do that saves a ton of time in the office is the concept of task batching. What that means is if there's something that needs to be done, I put it in a certain time and I do it then. Like for instance, if we need to purchase things, I do that every Tuesday and every Friday rather than every single time somebody gives me an item to purchase. So part of the time wasted is in switching from one task to the next, and task batching in this way eliminates that wasted time. So I do that with things like paying bills, I do all at once. Purchasing, I do a couple times a week. Responding to emails at certain times of the day. So those are some things to think about that are really good candidates for task batching. So one of the first things that we do, and really it's easier to show than tell here, but we set up dedicated emails for different purposes, different email addresses for different purposes. So I'll walk you through a couple that we've got set up that we found work really well for us. The first one that we use is our purchasing email. And this is a shared email account that a couple people have access to, and any purchase orders that we need, any requests for quotation, it all goes out in this email, so it doesn't clog up my inbox. And the people who, if they need to access it, they can access it and not have to get into my email. So this is one that we found pretty useful. And there's something that you can do in Gmail to make an account like this even more useful. So purchasing, we end up sending the same email over and over. Hey, can you get me a quote on this? Or hey, I'd like to order that, right? So what we do to make that simple is we click compose an email. Make that bigger here. And if you go down to these three dots for more options, I've got templates enabled on here. And if you don't have templates enabled in Gmail, I'll show you how to do it. But you go to templates, and let's say I want to write an email requesting or with a purchase order for a vendor. So I'll click on that template, and boom, the email is already pre-written. There's an attachment that'll go with this. I'll fill in the PO number, and then it's ready to send. So I don't have to spend any time writing it, and it also directs where to send invoices to. So I'm going to trash that. One of the other inboxes that we use is payment remittances. Anybody who submits a payment remittance via ACH goes into its own dedicated email. And again, we check that, and anybody can work off of that as needed. And the third one that we use that we've had some success with is our billing. And so we tell our vendors, hey, every single bill you have, please send it to this dedicated inbox. That way it doesn't get lost, it doesn't get overlooked, and then that makes it easy for me to task batch it and go ahead and enter all of the bills out of this email address at one time. So if you use Gmail and you like the template idea, there's a pretty easy way to get that set up. It does not come equipped as a default setting. So what you need to do is go to your settings tab, gear, click on that, click on see all settings, and then it is under the advanced settings, and right there, templates. Turn frequent messages into templates to save time, and you need to click enable here and then save your changes, and you'll be able to create and then save an email template. So we use QuickBooks for our accounting software, and QuickBooks has a new feature, relatively new feature, that's pretty good. It uses AI, but it does actually work. I would caution it's not perfect. It doesn't work 100% of the time, and I'll let you know what a couple little tricky areas we found with it are. But I'm in the section to enter a bill right now, and what this will let me do on the left side of the screen is I can drag and drop an invoice and autofill. So what I do is I go into my dedicated billing email address. I download any bills out of that. I put them in a folder on my computer, and then I will just drag them into, so I've got one here that's already ready to go. I'll drag it over here and autofill this bill. We'll go back there. And it takes a minute. While it's working, some of the things that I would caution are pay attention to make sure the vendor name is right, make sure the amount is right. We see a lot of problems with invoices from Europe. If you get any of those, the dates will be put in backwards, so in European format, and they won't know what to do with the euros. So that amount could be wildly off. But anyway, let's check this out. Looks like we've got the invoice attached here as an attachment. So when we go to pay the bill, that invoice shows up, and we know what we're paying for. We've got the customer or the vendor information auto-populates and automatically categorizes for us, puts the amount in automatically. So all I need to do then is click save, and boom, that bill is in. So I can verify, I can zoom in on this. Let's verify, yep, the total amount due is the total amount due in QuickBooks. So we're good there. So this is a handy tool. Hat tip to QuickBooks. Good job. This I think is a good use case of AI. Like I said, it does make mistakes. It seems to adapt and learn over time, but definitely check its work. One of the other tools we started using recently is a platform called Nickel, and it integrates with QuickBooks seamlessly. It works really well. The team at Nickel is super responsive. We've really enjoyed working with these guys, and I think they put out a fantastic product. So shout out Nickel. But what it does is let you pay bills in a couple clicks and makes receiving payments easier, and it's got a huge added bonus. If you sync it with QuickBooks, you can get paid without paying QuickBooks their payment processing fee. And QuickBooks, if you've looked at it, if your customers are processing payments through there, QuickBooks is taking a bite. 1 to 3%, I think, is what it is, and Nickel puts that money back in your pocket. So let's hop on our platform and see how it works. So right now I am in our pay bills section, and it's pretty simple. You go into your bills, you select one, click make a payment, and if you've got it set up as an ACH, there's no fee, and you just click review and pay, and the bill gets paid. Simple as that. So I'm a big fan of this product. I think the team at Nickel is very responsive. I think they do good work. And again, if this is something you're interested in, check the comments. I'll put our referral code down there so you can check it out. One of the other tools that we've started using recently is an app called Paid Nice, and a lot like Nickel, this syncs into QuickBooks and Xero as well if you use that. It does some different things than Nickel does, so it makes sense for us at least to have both. But what Paid Nice does is it automates sending invoice reminders, statements, and late fees, things like that. So if you find yourself chasing vendors trying to get paid, Paid Nice automates it. You can set things up on a schedule. So this is the main site, and again, I'll drop a link to this down in the comments. So let's take a look at our portal. And here's our portal. Here's what we can see. We've got our receivable stats. We've got our processes. This is what we send out. This one looks like it's inactive. But here's a process that runs automatically. And rather than just going automatically, I've got this one set to approve. So I've got to give it the green light to go ahead and send before. I think we send everything first of the month. So I'll go through, approve these. and it's really nice. It's got them all in the same place, and it brings them to your attention automatically, so you don't have to hunt through your QuickBooks and see, okay, who do I need to send a statement to. So I think QuickBooks can do some of these things. I don't know that QuickBooks can do everything that Nickel can do, or I'm sorry, that Paid Nice can do. But I know that automating some of the reminders and statements and things of that nature is just a good practice rather than doing it on a as needed basis. So there are a couple practical strategies and tools that you can use to save time on the things that just have to get done in your business. If you're in the stone business, again, I'd like to ask you, please subscribe to my channel. New videos come out Friday. You subscribe, make sure you don't miss anything. And I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.